My perfect wife blindsided me with divorce papers after I found her affair, and now she's trying to take everything. Hey Reddit, so I'm Liam 40M, and I'm going through some insane family drama. I always thought my wife, Serafina, and I were happy. Upper middle class, two great kids, the whole 9 yards. But she always had this way of making me feel like I wasn't good enough. Like I wasn't emotionally there for her or pulling my weight financially, even though I work my ass off as a software engineer. She's always been the charismatic one, the social butterfly, and I guess I've always been the quiet, supportive husband. She controlled everything, the image, the narrative, everything. I never realized how much power she actually had until now. I'm still reeling from the initial shock, but I'm starting to realize just how manipulative she can be. This is where things get really messy. I don't even know where to begin. It was a Tuesday night, completely ordinary. Serafina was out with her book club, which I'm now convinced was more wine club than anything else. The kids were asleep, and I was catching up on emails. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Normally, I wouldn't even look, but something told me to check it. Call it a gut feeling, call it divine intervention, I don't know, but I picked it up. And there it was, a text message from a number saved as Daniel Marketing. I knew that name. He was some hotshot young guy at her work she'd been mentioning a lot lately. The text read, "Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Last night was." Followed by a string of emojis I won't even repeat here. My stomach dropped. I felt physically ill, like the world was tilting on its axis. I scrolled up. There were more, so many more, photos, messages detailing I can't even type it. It was explicit, it was disgusting. It was a betrayal of everything I thought we had. I felt this wave of nausea wash over me. I actually stumbled to the bathroom and threw up. I couldn't breathe. It was like a nightmare, except I couldn't wake up. When she got home, I confronted her. Showed her the phone, the messages, everything. And you know what she did? She laughed. She actually laughed. Then she said I was being paranoid, that it wasn't a big deal, that I was overreacting. Overreacting? I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. She twisted it all around, saying I was the one who was distant, that I hadn't been meeting her needs. She cried, she yelled, she blamed me. It was like I was in some twisted alternate reality. I just stood there numb, trying to process the sheer cruelty of it all. How could the woman I loved, the mother of my children, do this to me? How could she be so cold? I tried to be reasonable. I suggested therapy. Serafina, I said, my voice shaking, we need help for us, for the kids, we can work through this. Her response, therapy, Liam, you're being dramatic, it was a mistake, it's over. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? You're always so emotional. Emotional. I was trying to save our marriage and she's calling me emotional. My hands were trembling. I could feel the blood rushing to my face. I wanted to scream, to yell, to break something, but I just stood there, frozen. She continued, her voice dripping with fake concern. You know, if you weren't so wrapped up in your work all the time, maybe I wouldn't have needed attention elsewhere. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a fight. This wasn't a normal marital disagreement. This was calculated. This was manipulation. Pure, unadulterated manipulation. She was twisting everything, making me the villain in her twisted narrative. Gaslighting me, making me question my own sanity. I felt a lump forming in my throat. I couldn't speak. I just stared at her, this woman I thought I knew, this woman I had built a life with, and I felt nothing, just a hollow ache in my chest. She saw the look on my face, the realization dawning in my eyes, and she softened her tone. She reached out, touched my arm. Liam, she said, her voice now a sickly sweet whisper, don't you see, I still love you, we can fix this. Just forget about it, let's move on. Forget about it, move on, like it was some minor inconvenience, like she hadn't just shattered my world into a million pieces. I pulled away from her touch, disgusted. No, Serafina, I finally managed to choke out. I can't just forget about it. This changes everything. And that Reddit is how my perfect life imploded. I'm lost, I'm hurt. And I'm terrified of what comes next, because I know Serafina. And this is just the beginning. A week later and it's a freaking nightmare. The divorce papers arrived. I knew they were coming, but seeing them in black and white, the legalese, the accusations, it was like a punch to the gut. She's demanding full custody of Olivia, 16, and Ethan, 10. Full custody. She's claiming I'm the unfit parent, that I can't provide a stable home, that I'm emotionally unstable. The irony is thicker than a brick. I'm a good dad. I work hard, I love my kids, I'd do anything for them. And she's trying to take them away from me. But wait, it gets worse. She's also demanding an exorbitant amount of spousal support. Like enough to cripple me financially. She claims she needs it to maintain her lifestyle. What lifestyle? The one I paid for, the one built on my hard work. I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my mind. I can't sleep, I can barely eat. I'm constantly on edge, waiting for the next blow. This morning, my phone rang. It was my mother-in-law. Liam, she said, her voice dripping with venom, you've brought shame upon our family. Serafina is a saint and you've treated her terribly. You should be ashamed of yourself. I was speechless. Ashamed, I should be ashamed. This woman has never liked me. She's always subtly undermined me, sided with Serafina no matter what. And now she's piling on, twisting the knife even further. I don't even know what to say, I stammered. You don't need to say anything, she snapped. Just know that we're all very disappointed in you, and we'll be supporting Serafina every step of the way. Then came the kicker. We're telling everyone what a terrible husband you are, Liam. Everyone, your reputation will be ruined. Ruined? They're actively trying to destroy my reputation. Spreading lies, poisoning people against me. I hung up the phone, my hands shaking. I felt this crushing weight on my chest, like I couldn't breathe. This isn't just about divorce anymore. This is a full-blown war. I'm starting to realize I can't just sit back and take this. I need to fight for my kids, for my sanity, for my future. I need to find a lawyer, gather evidence, expose Serafina for the manipulative liar she is. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I have TO. I won't let her win. I won't let her take everything from me. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. So I finally broke down and told my sister, Chloe. She's a lawyer, a damn good one, specializing in family law, ironically. I was hesitant at first, you know. It's embarrassing admitting your wife cheated and is now trying to screw you over in every way imaginable. It felt like admitting I was a failure. I started rambling, probably not making much sense. Chloe, I said, my voice shaky, it's Serafina. She's filed for divorce. Chloe was quiet for a second. Okay, she said, what happened? I took a deep breath. I found messages on her phone with some guy from her work. It's an affair. I felt my cheeks flush as I said the words out loud. Chloe's voice hardened. An affair? Liam, are you serious? I spilled everything. The messages, Serafina's gaslighting, the divorce papers, the insane custody demands, the spousal support, even my mother-in-law's vicious phone call. I just word vomited everything, the whole sordid mess. When I finished, there was a long silence. Then Chloe said, her voice filled with disbelief, Liam, this is insane. She's trying to take everything from you. That's when the tears started. I hadn't cried since I found those messages, but hearing Chloe say it, hearing her validate my feelings, it just broke me. I felt like a damn fool. I don't understand, I choked out. I thought we were happy. I thought I was a good husband, a good father. Chloe's voice softened. Liam, she said gently, this isn't about you being a good husband or father. This is about Serafina. This is about control. This is about money. She explained things I hadn't even considered. She talked about narcissistic personality traits, about manipulative tactics, about how Serafina was using the kids as pawns in her twisted game. She's painting you as the bad guy, Liam, Chloe said, so she can justify her actions and get what she wants. Suddenly, things started to click into place. Serafina's constant criticisms, her subtle put-downs, her need to control every aspect of our lives, it all made a terrifying kind of sense. It wasn't me, it was her. All along it had been her. What do? I asked, feeling a flicker of hope for the first time in days. We fight, Chloe said, her voice firm. We document everything. We gather evidence. We expose her lies. And we get you what you deserve. You deserve to be with your kids, Liam, and you're not going to lose everything you've worked for. Hearing those words, hearing someone finally believe me, validate my experience, it was like a weight had been lifted off my chest. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't a failure. I was a victim, and I wasn't alone. I had Chloe, I had my sister, and we were going to fight. It was late, everyone was supposed to be asleep. I was in my temporary apartment, staring at the ceiling, replaying every hurtful word, every manipulative tactic Serafina had used against me. I was exhausted, emotionally drained, but sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford. My mind was racing, a whirlwind of anxiety and dread. Suddenly I heard a faint buzzing sound. It was my phone, a notification from Olivia. She'd been distant lately, understandably torn between her parents. I hesitated before opening it. I was afraid of what I might see. It was a voice memo. My heart pounded in my chest as I pressed play. At first, all I could hear was muffled noise like someone was arguing. Then Serafina's voice, sharp and clear, cut through the static. You think you can just talk to him after what he did to us? My blood ran cold. Who is she talking to, Olivia? About me? Then, Olivia's small, trembling voice. He's still my dad. Serafina's voice exploded. He's a liar, a cheater, he abandoned us. I gripped the phone tighter, my knuckles turning white. This wasn't the Serafina I knew or thought I knew. This was a monster. The recording continued, Serafina's voice laced with venom. If you ever speak to him again, I swear to God I will disown you. You hear me? You are nothing to me. Nothing, nothing. She called her own daughter nothing. I felt a surge of rage, so intense it made me physically shake. This wasn't just about me anymore. This was about my daughter, my sweet, innocent Olivia. She was being emotionally abused, manipulated, poisoned against me by the woman who was supposed to love and protect her. Then the most chilling words of all. Serafina's voice dropped to a low, menacing whisper. He doesn't love you. He never did. All he cares about is himself. He's ruining our lives, Olivia, ruining everything. That was it, the final straw, the moment everything changed. I felt a physical shift inside me like a switch had been flipped. The fear, the self-doubt, the guilt, it all evaporated, replaced by a burning, white-hot rage. I was done. Done being the victim. Done being silent. Done letting this woman destroy my family. I slammed my fist on the table, the sound echoing in the empty apartment. I was trembling, but not with fear, with anger, with resolve. This wasn't just about divorce anymore. This was about protecting my children. This was about exposing the truth. This was war, and I was ready to fight. I had to, for Olivia, for Ethan, for myself. I picked up the phone and called Chloe. I have it, I said, my voice shaking but firm. I have the proof we need. All right, Reddit, I'm back, and things are about to get real. After that gut-wrenching recording of Serafina verbally abusing Olivia, something in me snapped. I went from defeated and lost to absolutely livid. I realized I couldn't let fear paralyze me anymore. I had to fight back, not just for myself but for my kids. First things first, I called Chloe. I played her the recording. Silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. Liam, she said, her voice low and serious. This is huge. This changes everything. We talked strategy. Chloe explained that this recording was clear evidence of Serafina's emotional abuse and instability. It completely undermined her claim that I was the unfit parent. This was the silver bullet we needed. But we couldn't just rely on the recording. Chloe advised me to gather everything I could. So I did. I started meticulously documenting every interaction with Serafina. Every email, every text message, every phone call. I even started keeping a detailed journal, recording dates, times, and specific instances of her manipulative behavior. I felt like a private investigator, but I knew this was crucial. Documentation is key, people. Don't underestimate it. Then, I dug deeper. I went through our financial records. I knew Serafina had always been a bit free spending, but what I found was shocking. Hidden credit card debt. Large, unexplained withdrawals. Evidence of her funneling money into a separate account I knew nothing about. Jackpot. This not only proved her financial irresponsibility, but also undermined her claims for exorbitant spousal support. Chloe brought in a forensic accountant to analyze everything. Having a professional on our side was a game changer. They uncovered even more shady dealings, things I wouldn't have even known to look for. Serafina was a master manipulator, but she wasn't as clever as she thought she was. I also reached out to a therapist, not for couples counseling anymore, but for myself. I needed help processing the trauma, the betrayal, the sheer emotional roller coaster I was on. It was the best decision I made. Talking to someone objective, someone who could help me understand what I was going through, was invaluable. It gave me the strength and clarity I needed to keep fighting. Then came the hardest part, preparing Olivia to testify. My heart ached for her, for what Serafina had put her through, but Olivia was incredibly brave. She knew what she had to do. We worked with a child psychologist to help her prepare for the courtroom, to give her the tools she needed to tell her story without being re-traumatized. As the court date approached, I was a nervous wreck. But I also felt a sense of calm, a strange kind of peace. I had done everything I could. I had gathered the evidence, built my case, and surrounded myself with a support system. I was ready. I was finally ready to confront Serafina and expose her lies. This wasn't just about winning a legal battle anymore. This was about reclaiming my life, protecting my children, and finally breaking free from Serafina's toxic grip. Game on. The courtroom was cold, sterile, the air thick with tension. My palms were sweating, my heart hammering against my ribs. Across the room, Serafina sat ramrod straight, her face a mask of icy composure. Her lawyer, some slick, expensive-looking guy, whispered something in her ear and she gave a tight-lipped smile. It sent a shiver down my spine. My sister, Chloe, sat beside me, her hand resting on my arm, a silent reassurance. Olivia sat a few rows behind us, pale but resolute. Seeing her there, so brave, gave me the strength I needed. The judge entered, the bailiff called the court to order. The proceedings began. Serafina's lawyer went first, painting me as a distant, emotionally unavailable husband, an unfit father. He spun tales of neglect, of financial instability, of my supposed inability to care for my children. I clenched my jaw, fighting the urge to yell out the truth. Lies, all lies. Then it was Chloe's turn. She was calm, collected, professional. She systematically dismantled Serafina's narrative, presenting evidence of my stable employment, my involvement in my children's lives, my consistent financial support. Then she dropped the bombshell. Your Honor, she said, her voice clear and steady, we have evidence of Ms. Serafina's emotional abuse towards her daughter, Olivia. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Serafina's composure finally cracked. Her eyes darted nervously towards Olivia, then back to Chloe. Chloe continued, we have a recording, Your Honor. A recording of Ms. Serafina verbally berating her daughter, threatening to disown her, using emotionally abusive language. Objection, Serafina's lawyer shouted, jumping to his feet. Overruled, the judge said, her voice firm. The recording will be played. The recording played. Serafina's cruel words echoed through the silent courtroom. You are nothing to me, nothing. The air was thick with tension, the silence broken only by the occasional gasp. I glanced at Serafina. Her face was ashen, her eyes wide with panic. The carefully constructed facade she had built was crumbling. Then Chloe called Olivia to the stand. My heart ached for her, but I was also filled with pride. She was so brave, so strong. She spoke clearly, concisely, recounting instances of her mother's manipulation and emotional abuse. She didn't cry, didn't falter, she spoke her truth. Mom, Olivia said, her voice trembling slightly but filled with conviction, looking directly at Serafina. Why did you do this to us? That was the turning point. The moment the power shifted. Serafina's carefully crafted mask finally shattered. Tears streamed down her face, but they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of rage, of frustration, of defeat. It's not fair, she shrieked, her voice laced with desperation. He's the one who ruined everything. The outburst sealed her fate. The judge looked at her with a mixture of pity and disgust. The courtroom was silent, everyone stunned by Serafina's raw, unfiltered display of anger. The judge's verdict was swift and decisive. I was awarded primary custody of Olivia. Ethan's custody was to be re-evaluated later, with mandated therapy for both children. Serafina's request for exorbitant spousal support was denied. The judge cited her financial mismanagement and lack of credibility. As we left the courtroom, Olivia threw her arms around me, sobbing. Thank you, Dad, she whispered. Thank you for fighting for us. In that moment, I knew I had done the right thing. I had fought and I had won, not just for myself but for my children. I had exposed Serafina's lies and I had finally broken free from her toxic control. It wasn't a complete victory. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but I had hope, I had my daughter, and I had my life back. And that Reddit felt like a miracle. It's been 6 months since the court ruling, and things are complicated. The dust has settled, but the fallout is still very real. Immediately after the hearing, Serafina stormed out, refusing to speak to anyone. Her family, who had been so vocal in their support of her, suddenly went silent. It was like they were ashamed of her, like they had finally seen her true colors. It felt weirdly validating. Olivia is thriving. She's living with me full-time, and she's like a different person. She's happier, more confident, finally free from Serafina's manipulative grip. We talk openly now about everything. It's not always easy, but we're rebuilding our relationship brick by brick. Therapy has been huge for both of us. Ethan is struggling. He's still torn between his parents, understandably. He spends weekends with Serafina, and it's clear she's still trying to poison him against me. It breaks my heart, but I have to trust that he'll eventually see the truth. I focus on being the best dad I can be, on providing him with a stable and loving environment when he's with me. Serafina and I only communicate through lawyers now. It's cold, impersonal, but necessary. She's still bitter, still blaming me for everything. But I don't engage. I refuse to be drawn back into her toxic web of lies and manipulation. I've learned to set boundaries, and it's been incredibly empowering. I'm still in therapy, working through the trauma of the divorce and Serafina's betrayal. It's a long process, but it's helping. I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago. I'm stronger, more assertive, more aware of my own worth. I've learned to trust my gut, to recognize red flags, to stand up for myself. I've also learned the importance of having a strong support system. My sister, Chloe, has been my rock throughout this whole ordeal. I don't know what I would have done without her. This whole experience has been a brutal wake-up call. It's shown me that appearances can be deceiving, that even the perfect family can harbor dark secrets. It's also shown me that it's possible to overcome even the most difficult challenges, to find strength in unexpected places, to rebuild your life after it's been shattered into a million pieces. So, Reddit, what do you think? Have any of you gone through something similar? How did you cope? Any advice for navigating the complexities of co-parenting with a toxic ex? I'd love to hear your thoughts.